Okay, psychic reading for Scott Morrison of Australia. I have no idea who he is, but I'm about to do a reading and see what comes up. Scott Morrison. I'm seeing his color vibration coming in at a green at the moment. Going to go ahead and do a 7-layer aura reading, starting with the first layer of the aura representing safety, security, survival. I'm seeing this coming in at a yellow. So I'm seeing him, it looks like he has a baby in his left arm, and with his right hand he's putting, it's like he's putting something on like these little areas, like putting a piece on each little part of this thing. I don't know what it is. So what does this mean? He's really paying attention to this baby while simultaneously doing this work with his hand, putting these things together. So what is this about? It's like he's juggling things. This baby's crying, and he's trying to do these two things at the same time. And it's like he's actually able to do it. What he's doing with his right hand represents his like obligations, what he needs to do, like within his job, that type of activities. So what does this have to do with the first layer of safety, security, survival? He's very confident. He has a lot of confidence within his ability to do these two things at the same time. Seeing him in a suit and tie. He's definitely able to pull this off. See what his truth is here. I'm also getting that this baby is not his baby. It's like he's taking care of someone else's baby. And this actually has to do more with Australia than it literally representing an actual baby. So this is like him juggling, like doing his job with his right hand, like doing what he's, doing the kind of mathematical aspect of routine, and then with his left hand he's kind of cradling the baby that represents Australia. Let's see more about this. So this is like the baby crying representing Australia. And so he's trying to hush this baby. He's trying to take care of it. And it looks like he's getting a little frustrated with it at times, and he really just wants the baby to like not be making a fuss anymore. I see him getting angry about it. But then he immediately goes back. I see him like playing a flute now, like he's like trying to appease this baby. He reverts to that. It's like as soon as he realizes that his anger is kind of getting the best of him, he reverts back to that. Looks like he's pretty good at it, and he's able to pull it off. And it looks like it's working for him on some level. Let's see if it's working for him on a spiritual level. I'm getting that something is off spiritually, that there's too much of this like going back and forth, and he's not able to really be authentic within this paradigm. I'm going to see what a next step would be for him. So it's kind of funny, but I see him boxing up this baby and sending it back to where it came from, because it's not even really his baby. So what does this mean for Australia? This is like him being like, that's not my problem, and it's like he's plugging his nose and he's like, ooh, like that smells bad, like that's not my problem. I'm gonna move on to the next layer. Next layer has to do with emotions, sensuality, sexuality. I'm seeing this coming in at a green. I'm seeing him and he looks very worn out. And he's wearing a lab coat with a suitcase. Maybe not a lab coat, but a fancy coat. And he just looks like he's been working himself almost to death. He doesn't have time to take care of himself, basically. And he's just like collapsing. As soon as he has time to relax, he just kind of collapses. And I'm seeing him with, again, baby toys. And looking over at this baby. It looks like, yeah, he doesn't really have time for himself. Let's see, what does this have to do with his second layer? It's like he's almost dead emotionally. Like he's just doing things routinely. Like, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this, I have to do that. And it's just kind of driving him crazy. Part of him is kind of stubbornly wants to find an escape. I see his next step being him going out, and this would be a next step to help, just help him for whatever he needs to do to get through this. I see him going to a fancy restaurant with a date, and it looks like that's what he needs to do to get out of this stuck energy. Let me see, what does he get to have when he does that? How does this help him? It makes him able to take himself more seriously, and there's a lot of pressure on him from external forces, and it's like he can't just like take himself seriously from his own perspective, and it's like doing things on his own without the external perspective, like seeing things from his own eyes instead of other people's eyes, not having other people's opinions kind of crushing him down, other people's needs, responsibilities, but more so him taking care of himself, doing what he wants to do for himself. Back to this baby picture. And so this is just representing a lot of responsibilities that he has that's filling up his time to take care of himself within the second layer, having to do with emotion, sensuality, and sexuality. Moving on to the next layer. Next layer has to do with doingness, willpower. Seeing this coming in at a yellow again. Now I'm seeing him sitting at a dining table by him. Well, he's sitting at the end of the dining table, and he's very, like, he's sitting straight up and very proper, like, and almost like he's waiting for some people. There's like other people at the other end of the dining table, and they're very talkative, but he's not. He's just sitting at this other end of the table, perked up, ready to engage, but it's like there's this isolation around him. And it's like he's feeling that. There's like almost this heat on him, and I see him taking this dish and like lifting up the lid and, like, you know, looking like he's putting plate on his food, but it's like there's just like this devastation energy over him about this scenario where he isn't able to really like enjoy what he's doing, and it's like he almost like takes the lid off and then puts it back, and it's like he's not even really doing anything. He's just kind of like starting to do something and then like putting it back and like kind of going back and forth, and it's like he's like timidly starting something, and then he's not even really doing anything. He's just kind of like nervously moving. Let's see, what is this about? I'm seeing him on the phone. He's talking to someone about something very important, business-like. And this is all involving business. And he's like, oh yeah, I don't know, like I don't know how that happened, you know. It's like almost like stocks, like bad stock investment type of vibe, something like that. It's kind of like things, it's not like he did something wrong, it's more that things just aren't working out. He's not having that luck. It's like kind of like when you have a tough boss who's coming down on you, just like really making sure you're doing everything exactly right. It's like that sort of energy. seems to be on his mind, and like he almost kind of did something not quite right. It's like he almost lost his appetite over it. And this has to do with just daily, like, business, getting things done, being successful, and there's a lot of pressure on him. So I'm going to move on to the fourth layer. This has to do with affinity for others and identity or affinity for yourself as well. I'm seeing this coming in at like a light grass green, like kind of lighter than most greens. I see him flipping a coin, catching it, putting it on his hand, and he's seeing heads. And there's like scratches on it. I don't know what that means, scratches on the coin. Something cartoonish about this whole thing, like out of Batman or something. So what does this mean for his identity? It's like he's flipping a coin, trying to figure out what he's gonna do next, like which direction he's gonna go. There's a lot of energy behind him, like dark energy. It's kind of glooming over him. Let's see, what is this energy about? These are energetic beings, energies that are, you know, somewhat alive on some level. They're really directing him, really pushing him. It's like they want him to go in this direction to become like successful in a way that like a shark, you know, like the successful, like a shark businessman type of person. That type of energy where they really want to just push him. He's super ultra successful. Cutting edge, Donald Trump status, or not necessarily like him, but you know what I mean. So I'm seeing him putting, when I take those out of the pictures so that I can really see what's going on here, besides for that, I see him take his watch, and it's like he puts his watch on something and walks away and it explodes. And this is him not being in such a hurry. It's like there's all these energies that want to push him along and like get to the front of the line, like get to the top of the pyramid, so to speak. And he's finding his truth is that he doesn't really want to do that. Let me see how this is actually working out for him, though. It looks like he's being pulled forward by some like upper class businessmen towards kind of getting involved in things he doesn't necessarily want to, where it's like he's just kind of pushing forward. It's not really where his heart is. It's kind of, let's see more about this. It's almost like it's all set up for him, kind of like pre-planned, like the basic business model that you're supposed to follow, and there's like these people pulling him along who want him to be kind of like them, be like super successful, and it's kind of against the grain for him on some level. there's a sense of like kind of losing his humanity on some level, or his it's like he's not even really there. It's like on autopilot. It's like he's not even present within these actions. It's kind of like getting pulled along in some mechanical way, and then you end up doing something or being something that you didn't really necessarily want to become, even though you want the success. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next layer. It has to do with communications. This is the 5th layer. I'm seeing this coming in at a green, and I'm seeing a watch again. This is like a watch necklace that he's wearing, metaphorically. And I'm seeing it pop open, and there's birds like in it, part of it. And he's hiding this. He doesn't want people to see this. It's like he's putting time away for himself. That's his own personal time. He's doing things for himself that are refreshing to him, and it's kind of not what these other pressures are wanting him to be doing. And then there's this very, I'm seeing it as like statues, like very set in stone kind of concrete type of energy. They're like, no, you do it like this, like pounding something with a hammer, like they're pounding it into him. But he's able to escape this. So it looks like he's kind of lying, or not necessarily lying, but hiding some things. He's being kind of tricky about how he goes about things. Figuring out a way to kind of sneak in the back alleyway, so to speak, to get things done how he wants to do them. And looks like that's more where his spirit is at. Move on to the 6th layer. This has to do with clairvoyance, the ability to see or be seen by others. I'm seeing this coming in at a blue. I'm seeing him playing baseball, hitting a baseball really far. And there's some sort of energetic being that's like in his space that is, let me see what this is about. This is making him more competitive and making him not able to just enjoy what he's doing, and it's all about like his public image and whatnot. But he just wants to play baseball. So I'm gonna see what this is about without that being interfering. Move that out. So what does this have to do with the 6th layer? Looks like he's just ready to hit whatever comes his way, symbolically. Looks like he's looking around, he's looking for what's coming, what's going to come his way. He's just asking for it. He's like, come on, give me your best shot. Looks like he's really good at this. Like he's really good at just taking whatever comes his way hitting it. He has some goals, far-reaching goals. He's ambitious in this regard. But it's not so much like he's ambitious, like he wants to get to the top of the chain or whatever. He just wants to tackle whatever comes his way in life, so to speak. It looks like as long as he stays centered within his, truth of not getting pulled along by other people into these other things he doesn't care to necessarily pursue, he's able to really stand his ground and really hit a home run, so to speak. And it looks like he sees that, and he understands that, and he understands that from the sixth chakra, third eye, sort of, like he really sees that, he really gets it. It's like a sense of clairvoyance for him to understand when he is in his authenticity and when he is not, and he knows that he's being pulled and dragged along, and really pushed and out of his authenticity and like trapped within it from all these other pictures I've read so far. It's all adding up to that. So I'm going to move on to the last layer. This last layer has to do with connection to divinity. I'm seeing this coming in at a green. I'm seeing him as a child, watching this caterpillar, and his mother is over him. He's looking up to the sky, and it's like everything is so amazing and impressive. Just the world, and nature, and humanity, and everything. Seeing his dad pulling up, and he has a baseball bat, and it's like he wants to get him to play baseball and get into these sports and whatnot. This is all symbolic, of course. So let me see, what does this mean for the seventh layer? It's like as he's playing this baseball game, he's growing older and older. So there's this sense of connection with the divinity that he has developed, but it's like as a child, and it's kind of like a childhood fleeting memory that has passed on some level. But he still has it within his heart, so to speak. And it's like he wants that truth, but it's like kind of like he knows it's real, but it's like he feels trapped and frustrated that he can't get there, and it's like he's trying, but there's just so much force against him to be this other way. He's just not really able to get there. So I'm going to go ahead and end this reading for right now. I might do more reading later, but I need a break to go to the bathroom.